Hello and welcome to At the Power Table podcast, where we are breaking barriers and building the future together. We have been busy at the Power Table podcast. We have attended the Clean Energy Conference UK in Newcastle over in November. And it's really exciting for us because what that means is not only are we just having conversations with really, really cool people in the energy industry, we're taking those insights back into industry and doing something about it, which is awesome. We love insights into action. And so we want you to have a say as the community, because we truly, truly do believe that the energy industry is a place for everybody and everybody has a place. So please engage with us in our posts, engage with us in our comments. We're active on LinkedIn and Instagram. We're really keen to hear your insights. Until then, today we have Yasmin Ali, a team engineer at RWE and author of the book Power Up. Yasmin and I actually did not know each other, but when I was looking for guests, I came across Yasmin's profile, and so I followed her. And it actually took me a really long time before I reached out to her, but up until the time I did reach out to her, I was just in awe of how incredible she is. She's achieved so many things, and the thing for me that I love the most is just her authenticity and the values that she brings, which is such a unique perspective, but also encapsulates the essence of the energy industry. I mean, I've said it before, for me, the energy industry is about the people. So I'm really excited for you to listen to Yasmin's episode. I think it's lots of fun. You could tell from the episode that we had lots of fun recording it. So I hope you do too. As always, please like, subscribe, follow, and engage with us. Love to hear your comments. Okay, bye. What were we going to say?
People have noticed, probably. It's a little bit embarrassing.
Not embarrassing at all. If it makes you feel any better, I'm speaking at Clean Energy Conference next week, 2 weeks' time, 4th of November, and I'm representing the podcast, so I've made like a shirt with the logo. So branding is very important.
Yeah, I agree.
So green is your color. For some reason I went with the yellow blue for the podcast brand.
And very fat and foul.
Yeah, very, very hard to do, especially in autumn, like the lights. As pastels is not really easy to do, but maybe in summer I can come every day
dressed as your podcast. I like it. There is a thing where people dress like their book, apparently.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I wish I had more information to tell you right now, but I've forgotten.
What if you have more than one book?
I guess you dress as the latest one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, very.
I think like people turning up to award ceremonies and stuff, matching their book.
Like the theme of the book or the colour?
The colours.
Maybe it's like an association. Oh, wow. I have to stock up on like yellow and blue clothes.
You do. Yeah, commit. But yeah, you will end up working at Vat and Foul by accident.
That's true. I mean, I do lots of offshoring, so potentially an option.
There you go. You heard it here first.
Future prediction. Well, welcome, Yasmin Ali, to At the Power Table podcast. People are going to be like, these two have riffed on and on. We have no idea who she's speaking to. Well, I'm speaking to the team lead at RWE. There's a long title that goes behind it. I tried to learn it beforehand and then failed. So Yasmin is going to tell us about it.
Yeah.
Yasmin, please.
Thank you. I will do my best to also remember what my job title is. So team lead, battery energy management system development, or EMS. Development for short, and essentially it's a team of software and controls engineers, and they are developing a control system for large-scale batteries.
I love it. And outside of RWE, Yasmin is doing incredible stuff. She's written her own book, hence the riff-raff about branding. Whenever you see someone wearing green, it's Yasmin, because her book is... There we go. Yeah, keep it up, definitely. Okay, tell us about your book, Yasmin.
It's called Power Up, as you can maybe see. I don't know how zoomed in we are. It's my really kind of a combination of my journey in the energy sector. I've been working in this space for 15 years, and then all about the energy transition. So where we started on fossil fuels and then where we're heading. And it's aimed at people who are interested in energy but don't have a technical background. My number one aim was to make it fun. So it's lots of stories, a lot of like bits of history, things that I've done, places that I've been, or people that I interviewed. So yeah, it's an attempt at explaining the energy sector in one book in a fun way.
That's really cool, but also really, really annoying for me because I want to interview you, but I don't want to take away all of the good stuff that's in the book because we want people to buy the book. So most importantly, if someone wants to get their hands on a copy of the book, where do they do that?
It's in bookshops, on Amazon, just anywhere that you would get books. And there's an audiobook version as well, which I did read myself. So if you're enjoying this voice, you can have 8 or 9 hours of it reading the book.
Do you do this is your first book, right?
Yeah.
Do you do that? I can't remember which movie it's from. I think it's Sex and the City where she sees her book and then puts it like first.
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah.
The other science authors I know. I do it with other people's books who I know too.
I mean, I was about to say, I'm going to do it for your book.
Yeah, everyone should do it. Maybe just to explain. So when you go into book, maybe if people don't know, if you go into a bookshop and the books are not facing outwards, just take them out and make them face forwards.
Yeah,
outwards.
give it a little power up.
Yeah,
exactly.
very good. I like it.
That's terrible.
It's good.
It's terrible. Tell us about your journey into the industries, but without giving away too much because we still want people to.
Oh, I don't. I mean, it's quite a long book, so I'm not going to cover the whole thing. But I got into engineering a little bit by accident. So I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was growing up. And originally I was going to study medicine because I understand what doctors do. I didn't really understand other jobs. It's hard to imagine, like, what am I going to be doing every day doing this thing? I didn't get into medicine, into university. I had a gap year and then tried again and I didn't get in again. And I thought, okay, maybe I should do something else. And I had a leaflet from the Institution of Chemical Engineers that said, why not Chem-Eng? And maybe to go back to the colours and branding, I remember it was blue and orange.
Okay.
And it opened it up and it talked about all the different sectors that chemical engineers work in, from food manufacturing, energy, water, pharmaceuticals. Importantly for me at the time, it said, I think they were the second or third highest paid graduates. And I was like, yep. Okay, let's do this thing. I didn't know where it would lead, but it felt like it would open up lots of doors. So studied chemical engineering, did a summer placement with E.ON between my 3rd and 4th year of university. I was on a gas-fired power station in Lincolnshire, and really that was quite eye-opening for me. I suddenly realised the energy sector exists, and prior to that I was just, turning the lights on, not really thinking about it, putting the heat on, not thinking about where that's coming from. And I realized that there are lots and lots of professionals in the background and these networks of power stations and cables and pipelines that make the system work and give us this very reliable energy supply. And I thought, okay, this is kind of cool. I want to do this. So that was really how I got into it. I did a graduate scheme with E.ON, worked in oil and gas, and did a few other jobs, then left and joined what was BEIS at the time. So basically the UK's energy department, UK government's energy department. I worked on energy innovation projects. That was really fun. And that was really for me going from working on fossil fuels and making that decision that actually I want to be forward facing and I want to work on renewables. And that's what I've done since: government, energy innovation, and then project development for green hydrogen at RWE, and now in the battery space.
That's really cool. Really impressive. Lots to touch on. I think just starting right at the beginning, so chronologically I don't lose all my thoughts. Very interesting. You knew medical, so you applied for medical. I think one of the things I keep hearing in engineering spaces and how we promote in future engineers is always I'm an engineer because my dad was an engineer, my mom was an engineer, and their dad and their mom. So is anyone in your family an engineer? Like close family?
No. Okay. No, my parents are doctors.
There we go. There we go.
So I had been in hospitals, done work experience. It's what I knew.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really fair, right? Is that how do you broaden that perspective?
Yeah.
And apparently blue and orange are the right colors.
I have to say, I should have known that it wasn't for me, because on several occasions when I did work experience in hospitals, I ended up fainting, which is not really a good attribute.
Hopefully we're not. No faints in the energy
No,
industry. Okay.
none. Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah, definitely a win. And I think one of the things I think about so often is every time I have a family member who's making a decision of what should I do for my career, you don't really know. You don't really know yourself. You don't even have the confidence to be like, actually, that's not for me, because it's just, I know that, therefore I should be doing that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things you said is that it was the third highest paid, which like it's just something I can relate to, because I was like, okay, I'm good at accounting and I get paid well. So like, there we go. I'm going to study accounting.
Yeah.
Don't do any accounting now in the energy industry,
Mhm.
but that's what you pick.
Mhm.
And I think that's just like the point I want to make around engineering, and that like it's a foundational degree rather
Yeah.
than a
Yeah.
you become a X person, an engineer, and therefore you only have this opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. And it's quite hard to communicate that because it's such a wide field. So there are many different types of engineering you can study, many, many industries you can go into, and then within that, so many different roles that you can do. So something that I did over a couple of years, a few years ago now probably, was write a series of articles for the Chemical Engineer magazine. And I interviewed different chemical engineers, picked people who had quite different career paths. And I just wanted to show the diversity of what these people end up doing with the same. We all started in the same place, really, and you end up in such different places.
Absolutely.
So one guy is a journalist, environmental correspondent for like well-known newspapers that I can't remember right now. He's written some books as well. He's called David Adam. The others, I mean, one guy was working on movie sets it's super niche. So if, for example, I'll give you, I'm really going off topic here. I hope that's okay.
I love going off topic.
Yeah. So he worked on some of the Batman films.
Okay.
And when they're doing those big action scenes, they need a crane. And if they're filming in a field, you need like a road for that crane to be able to travel along.
Yeah.
So he worked for a company that hired out the metal sheeting that they would put down to do that, and did like a lot of the safety stuff, and just got more and more involved in well-being and mental health in the film industry. And I just love that he's a chemical engineer and he's gone down this very unexpected path. So I think maybe to go back to your original point, with this foundational engineering degree, you can go on to do.
Exactly. And I want to touch on to like staying on the like studying, and in that study engineering thing, you're a trustee of a really, really cool university.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. It's called in.From.
Yeah.
It's in Hereford, which is in Herefordshire, close to the Welsh border. It was set up a couple of years ago. We just had the first cohort graduate, 22 or 25 students who I think all have jobs now. Really great
That's
jobs
really cool.
with big companies like Mondelez and others. But the whole concept of in.From is to teach engineering in a very different way, to churn out work-ready and ethically conscious engineers and well-rounded people. So there are no exams and no lectures, which I'm sure is great for some people. Everything is quite practical. Everything's quite project-based, and every project is provided by industry. So it's a real problem. They work in teams to solve these industrial problems, and they have to think about regulation. They have to think about the communities around whatever the project is that they're working on. And yeah, I just think it's really cool. And I would have gone somewhere like that if I had the
A really
opportunity.
stupid question. Is it like an apprenticeship?
Not quite, because when you do an apprenticeship, you're working with one company usually, as far as I know, and it's a little bit more, tends to be more hands-on type stuff.
Really cool.
Whereas with this university, it's a bit more kind of like project-based.
Yeah.
So they might be coding something, or like coming up with an engineering design for an energy problem or something like that. I can't quite, I'm trying to think of some specific examples. I mean, they were doing something around housing.
Yeah.
And there was an issue for a housing developer in Hereford who was not allowed to build any more houses because of some problems around wastewater treatment. So they really had to then go and learn about that side of this problem and try and come up with some solutions that would then allow this company to continue building houses. So it's a little bit consulting.
Yeah. Really practical application of problem solving.
Yeah. And they get,
Very cool.
it follows like the engineering council guidance or whatever, saying all this wrong and might people are going to be, what she's saying. But yeah, so it's all like an accredited degree. And they do a B-Eng in 3. No, that's normal. Maybe B-Eng in 2 years. So it's shorter. But they get fewer holidays. They work really, really hard. Yeah. And it's structured like being at work. So they're working from like 9 till 6 and then after that as well.
That's really cool though. I really like the fact that it's not like theory based, it's very practical, get in and actually just do stuff. And I know academically it's structured. The academic work is structured so that you are still problem solving and that still is applied. But this, you get the people skills and the soft skills, which you don't get. This is not a real life situation. It's not interacting with like in a professional manner. So that's really, really cool.
And just to so about the theoretical learning, they get that as well, but they have to do that because they need to solve a particular problem. So one challenge that I had when I was at school and university, I didn't know why I was learning stuff. I was like, what am I going to do with this? Whereas if you do it the other way around, you say, here's a problem, now go and find out the theory that will allow you to solve it. For me, that makes more sense. But people learn in different ways.
Like theorem of Pythagoras.
Oh, yeah.
And you learned it at school. You're like, why on earth do I care about this? But it was, again, problem solving in action, right? Just via math application. I do have a nephew who listens to the podcast and sometimes makes his friends listen to the podcast too. Which is really cute. Yeah, all the information goes over their head. All they care about is the theme song. However, if he does ever listen to us, I'm pretty sure he'd be like that. That's the university I want to go for because no exams.
Yeah.
I can see how that's appealing to literally almost anyone.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. So I've kind of forgotten. So I think, sorry, I'm processing my thoughts. I think one of the things for me that really stuck out about you is the value of make everything fun. I have to admit, when you were saying out your team title and explaining what you do, it can sound dull to some people because it's like, oh, systems, this, that. But everything about you and everything about how you live and what you do in your work is about making things fun. Talk to us about that value.
Yeah, I think life is short, so why not enjoy it? And we spend so much time at work. I really believe we should be having fun and having good relationships with the people around us. And I think that then leads to better results as well. So with my team, I started the job in May. I have put quite a bit of effort into organizing social activities and just getting to know everyone and making it not just about work, but about us as a team doing this thing together. And I think, I don't know, for me, that's a nice thing to do and it makes my life more enjoyable and hopefully other people's.
I agree. I think the only thing is when you put corporate plus fun, that immediately for me as an introvert, alarm bells go off because there's like freak, forced fun. What is the secret? There's a fine balance, right? There's a fine balance between I like my teammates, I want to hang out with them after work versus now we have to hang out and it's like forced fun because everyone's trying to be like, oh, this is fun. And it's like, sorry, I'm a terrible introvert.
All of my team are introverts, apart from one person. But I think introverts still want to have social interactions, right? And it's not forced. I'm not like, you all have to come to this thing.
Yeah.
It's optional. And there's, either we've just gone out for dinner or gone. By the way, the team is in Dresden in Germany.
Okay.
So I'm traveling out there about once a month. But it's a beautiful city, so we can walk around. They've shown me some of the history. We've played some little games, which, yeah, I think people have been open-minded to trying things.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not forced. I hope they don't think it's.
I know, just from our interaction, I can definitely tell it's not forced. That's
Yeah,
probably the thing that comes out for me about you is that real authenticity. And I think as long as it's authentic, it then doesn't become forced. And it's not like we're a family corporate culture. It's like we recognize that we work together and we're just trying to make the space really fun. Some of the other things you've done, and you can completely blame your husband for this, but he's told me about your stand-up comedy.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, I have this tendency of saying yes to things before I've fully thought through what it means, which I think is good.
Yeah.
Because I've ended up doing some stuff that's unusual. But yeah, I've done maybe 3 or 4 different sets of 10 minutes of science-themed stand-up comedy. So it tends to be at science comedy nights rather than anything too serious. But yeah, I like it.
So cool. Do you remember any jokes offhand? I know you have to set up stuff.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
No. I can tell you what the last show that I did was all about. So a couple of years ago, I discovered that I'm a little bit obsessed with energy infrastructure.
Okay.
And if you look it up on Google, people have left reviews for power stations and energy infrastructure. So yeah, that was really the basis of me talking about the energy systems and then just seeing what members of the public think of them.
What is it like? Not in my backyard kind of reviews?
No, a lot of them are quite jokey. Again, I think there's this subculture that I was unaware of people leaving jokey Google reviews. And then once one person's done it, So I don't know if you know Ratcliffe-on-Soar Power Station. It's got these, I think it's 8 giant cooling towers. And the theme of the reviews for that one is people complaining that the smoke wasn't turned on, which is obviously a joke, I think. But yeah, that I really entertained myself with that 10 minutes of comedy.
Have you heard of the Secret Comedy Club in Drury Lane?
Yeah.
Which is not really a secret. But I feel like we've just unlocked the Secret Comedy Club of energy.
Maybe. Yeah. So that one I did at something called An Evening of Unnecessary Detail, which they run twice maybe a year in London. Yeah. And it's a good night
Open
out.
to the public?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's the whole point. It's like science, public engagement.
That's so cool. You're so cool.
Thank you.
I want to come to one of those. Do you know when the next one's happening?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Will you be performing? Can you let us know when you're performing next, and then we can blast it on our social media pages?
I'll try to remember. I'm usually quite bad at.
What do you mean try to remember? You're supposed to be thinking of us every single day you're after. Come on.
I'm really bad.
I'm just real deep friends.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Can you think of us every morning and be like, oh, I love At the Power Table podcast so much.
Yeah. Just give you daily updates of what I'm up to.
That would actually be great.
Yeah.
New segment coming, daily updates of Yasmin's life. First on the podcast.
I do try to put stuff on LinkedIn and Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm not that disciplined at it, but I'm trying to get better.
Okay.
In case I just feel like people aren't really that interested in my day to day, but I think actually what seems normal to me probably isn't to others, and maybe is interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing stuff out there to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah. Keep throwing stuff. We definitely are keen to catch it, and definitely keen to come see you in action. Even an unnecessary detail sounds really cool.
It is good fun. I would highly recommend it.
That sounds really cool. Really, really cool. But now I really want to hear. Also, I do admit I am going to go immediately after this on the train and Google energy reviews.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Rampion, the wind farm, Brighton, that's got some good reviews as well. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, that's so cool. I'm so glad it's not. I thought it was not in my backyard and be like, oh, this is terrible.
A couple of those. There's some really nice ones. Actually, one of my jokes was I don't know if this will work, I'll try. But one of the reviews for Rampion is like super, super positive. And then when I saw who had written it, it was my friend. It was the manager of Rampion Wind Farm. So yeah.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, he's doing his bit.
Yeah, he's voicing
like,
his opinion.
Yeah. Just seems a little bit, not that genuine because he works there.
I'm going to allow it. I'm going to be like, as someone who's on the ground, has first-hand experience, he's totally should be allowed to review. It's probably going to be the best review. We can like the review? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Dan is his name.
Look at Dan's review. And then like, it's terrible. Dan's going to be like, sorry, who are you and what are you talking about?
He doesn't know that I've done this joke about him. I did invite him along, but he couldn't make it. And I never explained why. Maybe he'll watch this. I'll send him a link to this.
Like, I love it. I love it for Dan. Hopefully he trains. That's awesome. You're lots of fun. Talk to me about, obviously, the podcast looks at the energy industry and the skills gap that we have. And obviously, given that we have such a big demand and just this growing demand and growing accelerated pace and scale that we have to achieve in 5 years' time, which is crazy, but we need more people in the energy sector. We need people of all different thoughts and perspectives and backgrounds and lots and lots and lots of engineers. Talk to me about what you've seen in the industry in relation to that.
Yeah, I'll give you a kind of a random observation, and I have absolutely no data to back this up, but I talk to lots of people in the industry who tell me they're struggling to recruit and we have this shortage, and people always throw the numbers around about how many thousands of engineers we're going to need. But then on the other side, I meet a lot of younger engineers who have graduated or who are a couple of years into their career, or others who maybe have been out of engineering for a while and want to get back into it, or people who want to switch industries and then they're stuck and can't seem to. I just feel like there's a gap somewhere between the employers and the employees, and I don't know what the issue is. You're smiling. Maybe you have some thoughts on this.
I am smiling. I don't have the answer, but it's funny because the previous episode, which is not out yet, but has been recorded, talks exactly about this.
Okay.
It's a guy called Josh Robertson. He has his own podcast, Engineer Career. Yeah. He's also an engineer, and he talks about a systems gap rather than a skills gap. And it's exactly that. And he talks about this all the time, is that, yes, there's this demand and we need people, but then from the people side, they're keen and willing, and somehow there's just this mismatch. Yeah. And we're just not crossing paths.
Yeah. And I just see these, like, you see these jobs advertised on LinkedIn, and then they get thousands of applications, and it's not really a fair process because the majority of those applications will just get chucked in the bin without anyone looking at them. And then there's other jobs that are maybe not advertised in the same way, or they go via recruiters and the recruiters don't fully understand what's needed. Or maybe you have people who are hiring who lack a little bit of imagination and they're looking for some very specific people and aren't thinking, well, maybe I can take this person from, I don't know, the food industry or automotive and use their skills in the energy sector. So yeah, there's some stuff to think about.
I have a question. What do you think we need to do to fix it?
I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm not sure on that recruitment problem. This is something that I thought of relatively recently. So I don't know, I'll have to listen to your last podcast.
Listen to Josh. Yeah. In terms of, is it like bridging that recruitment gap and businesses just going directly in? But businesses are in universities and speaking to students. Somehow that still just isn't enough, and there's something else that we need to do.
Yeah, I think so. It's not just students as well. There's the people who maybe join a company and they're there for 2 years and then they think, actually, I'm not really into this. I want to do something else. And then they get put into this bucket of, you're not very experienced, so what do we do with you?
Yeah.
But that's my feeling anyway. I don't know if it's true or not.
Fair. I mean, it is a conversation. You're not fixing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great perspective though, and one to think about, because
Mhm.
I don't have the answers either.
Yeah.
Another difficult question, because you did so well on the first one. Congratulations.
Thank you. I should do worse on the next one to avoid the third difficult question. I see how this works.
Exactly. See, this is why we have engineers. They figure stuff out really, really quickly and then make my life. So, second question is taking just a broader than skills. So, just in energy industry wide, for you, what are the, like, obviously we have to reach net zero and we have net zero ambitions and goals, and that's fast approaching. But there's lots of challenges or roadblocks along the way. What would you say are the top two that you've seen within the space that you're working in? It could be the skill side, it could be RWE, it could be from a literacy perspective, anything.
So the two biggest blocks to the energy transition. Okay, just to summarize.
I have a tendency of asking my question like around the garden.
Yeah, and just to give myself some thinking time as well. I do think one thing is around public communication.
Yeah.
So we often forget that the energy system exists for people, for us. That's, if we weren't here, then we don't need all of this electricity and gas and whatever. And it's designed by people as well. And we need everyone to be on board with that. And my feeling is that the vast majority of people don't really understand what's going on in the energy system, which is fine. They haven't really needed to so far. We've had a very stable system for the last 100 or 150 or however many years it's been. But now that we need to change things, I think we need to bring that awareness to the public, who are ultimately voting for the politicians who are then setting the policy to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think there is something around public communication, which is a bit of a blocker in the UK and other places as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what my second thing is.
So I do agree on the public perception and just the understanding. And it goes back to the point you made earlier of only when you join the energy industry, you actually learn really basic stuff like generation, transmission, distribution, usage. I agree. I didn't know that. So I started off in consulting, and my first few clients were, my first main industry was around mining. I still, at that point, like, even though there's a link into energy, I still didn't know the energy sector. It's only recently that I've moved into utilities and power.
Yeah.
That, like, I actually understand, like, oh, what does a transmission do? Like, what does the big station do? Like, I'm ashamed to say it, but I will say it anyway. Prior to joining, like, the utility side and the electricity side of stuff, I knew a substation existed. What it actually did, I could not tell you.
Why would you know? It's not relevant to your immediate life.
Yeah. Like, you would just be like, that's the electricity stuff, or like some big industrial thing, not important, and then moving on. Whereas now, like, you know, and you look to spot like pylons, and you spot substations and converters and transformers, which is really cool, but also really geeky. But again, it's you don't really know because you don't have to know. However, there is that change in we need to know because it impacts your life. And you can't talk policy. I mean, you can't talk energy without talking politics because it's driven by policy. So there is the thing in terms of what people need to do. Step one, I can tell you, read the book.
That is genuinely what I've tried to do. So it is a very big and complicated system. It's global. It's really interconnected. So it's quite hard to understand what's going on. So I've split the book up into how we get energy, how we move it, which is the bit that gets ignored quite often, and then how we use it. So it's that very logical flow of the energy sector, I hope.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think you're correct and spot on in saying how we move it is often ignored. And it's really important now because it directly impacts your cost of living, because that's why energy bills are going up, because we're doing the great grid infrastructure. Of course, it's not the only reason.
Yeah.
It is a reason that didn't exist during those 60 years. It wasn't, we weren't upgrading transmission infrastructure or building new transmission infrastructure to the point that we are doing now. So I think there is that a periphery level of information that's needed. And no one's asking public to become an expert in energy.
No, it's just to be a little bit aware. And I think what I would like is for people who aren't energy experts not to oppose certain types of energy infrastructure for no good reason, just based on emotion. That really winds me. Like people who think wind turbines are ugly, so we shouldn't have them, or pylons are also ugly, so we shouldn't have them. And I feel like there's that connection between the reason you can do all the stuff that you do at the cost that you're doing it is because this infrastructure exists. Yeah. So I want to make that link.
I think it's an interesting one though. Like I know you say it winds you up, so maybe I'm screwed slightly, but I have empathy for it though. Like I get it. If you're not energy inclined and you're not interested and you have a beautiful home that is, for example, I know this happened in Germany. Yeah, Germany. Where people on coastal areas had really beautiful beach homes and they didn't want a pylon coming and blocking their sea view. And so it was a whole, can you move cables underground rather than overground? And it was, yes, we'll pay extra for it.
Okay, fine.
However, there comes that question of it can't be a blanket wide policy because there's an equity lens.
Yeah.
So people on the coastal area were like, yes, of course, we'll pay whatever much extra is needed. But people inland didn't really care because they didn't have a beautiful sea view. And they were like, we're not paying all of this extra money.
Yeah.
And obviously they were from lower income communities and they couldn't afford that extra. I understand it's not pretty and I value nature or like the countryside, I want it untouched. I understand and I have empathy for it, but I think there's a broader discussion that everyone needs to take into consideration that, yes, you don't want to mess the countryside up. However, people in the countryside need electricity. And you need to transport electricity. And so it's very hard to do that if we're not going to put up the structure.
True. Yeah. And there are other options. You could give everyone microgrids or something and go to a completely distributed energy system.
Yeah.
But there are options, but we have to be practical.
Yeah.
And I'm not going out there shouting at people who say they don't like pylons. But I think maybe if they understood it a bit more, then they might change their view.
Yeah. And again, it comes down to that public communication and public knowledge. It's a listening / educating, but not in a condescending way.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I don't blame people for not knowing because, I mean, I don't know about other industries.
Exactly.
I don't know much about farming, but I like eating food.
I mean, that's actually a really brilliant example.
Thank you. I just came up with that right now.
Stunning. My final question for you, it's been a treat. So thank you for making the time. If you were, and this is probably the hardest question. So if you were wondering, you did brilliant on all the other questions. So now we're asking you the tough ones. If you were given advice to a younger Yasmin starting her career, what would that advice be?
I think not to worry so much. So my impression when I was growing up was that I had to choose a job and that was going to be the thing that I do forever. That's a lot of pressure. Whereas in reality, people do lots of different things over their career and they change companies and they change professions and they change direction, and that's okay. And I think if I had known that, that would have taken a lot of stress away from my life, and maybe just tell myself to be patient, which is difficult for me now as well. After 15 years of this, I actually finally feel kind of comfortable and useful, like I can step into a job and do stuff. And that took time to come. And I was really keen for it to happen very quickly.
Yeah, I think there's something about allowing yourself space to learn is what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Just be a bit more forgiving.
I think we can all be forgiving.
Yeah.
Ourselves, most importantly.
Yeah. And it will come together at some point in the future.
Trust the process.
Yes, not completely. I mean, you still have to put some effort in.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
told you that was going to be such a wholesome conversation, like just such a treat. Honestly, such a treat. At the time of recording Yasmin's episode, Josh Robertson's episode was not out yet, so episode 12 was recorded but not published. So Yasmin hadn't heard about it, and it's so cool that perspective shared by different people, and is an emerging insight as we progress and as we grow as an industry to start looking at and then solving and see how we fix that together. As we head into December and over the Christmas break, we thought that it is a good time for reflection, a time to spend with your family, as a time for rest, recovery, and hopefully whilst you do that, you'll be listening to the podcast too. So in lieu of the festive break, we have recorded 2 bonus episodes, which we will release pre the break, I think. I hope. I really, really hope. We've recorded 2 food for thought episodes, one on AI and innovation and human-centric innovation, which is really apt right now given the current context that we operate in. And then the second is a consumer perspective. So really, really, really cool. And I'm really excited for you to listen to that conversation. Is a non-energy industry expert, someone who is no energy background, and we have a conversation with someone from that background. And it's more a listen in and learn if you're not an energy expert, but also a conversation for energy experts to get the perspective of the consumer. So really excited to release those 2, and hopefully they give you some food for thought. You have a think around them, and then in January, because we appreciate that 2 episodes is a lot, we will not release an episode, so you can continue your thinking all the way in through to February, where we'll release new episodes. Okay, thank you. Bye.